Hey everyone, another exercise fixing Flaky test. This is level 4 in my Flaky test Cypress repo. The test is set up to run 10 times in a row because the flake shows up only I think in like 20% of the time randomly. So we have to run the test a couple times just to see it. Okay, so right here it has failed, so I'm gonna stop the test runner and let's just look at the error. So it's looking for some name, some email.com, core, git it, course. But notice what is in the list. The name is correct, but the email is missing the first 2 letters. Instead of some at some email, it has me@email.com. This is a very common situation to lose a couple of letters when you type, especially on the first input field. In this case, it's the second, but you get the gist. Basically, the page shows up, there is an input field, but the JavaScript code is not running yet. So it did not attach event handler, so the first couple of letters typed by Cypress during the test get lost. Because you type a couple, then the JavaScript initializes, clears the field, and, well, you keep typing, but the app only receives the remainder of the letters. So right here, when we typed some@email.com, after we see me@email. Alright, what can we do about it? Well, you could modify your application to somehow signal that it has finished loading. In that case, you can just check for that attribute and type only after application finished. But we have to only modify the spec, unfortunately, so why don't we do this, right? So we're gonna type some email. Then we can grab this element, right? Or we can probably just invoke attribute method and get the value. So remember, Cypress yields a jQuery object, so we can invoke the other method and get the value, current value. We can pass it to a callback, so we see value. And we can say if value is not what we expect it to be, which is some@email.com, then we just type it again. Okay, so we get the same input element, we clear the previous value, and we type the email fully again. So let's see if this solves the problem. Okay, so check this out. It just happened on the first attempt. So we clicked on the email. I don't know what we have to click, but that's existing test. So we type some email, but notice what appears after we type me@email.com. So it lost a couple letters. We get the attribute, okay, and you can always see what it yields, right? So the application lost a couple letters, and we can see from the command log that we got the element, right? And we cleared it, and we typed email again. And just to be sure, we can confirm by saying get the element again, and it should have value some@email.com. So after we finish typing, and maybe there is a second attempt, the value is what we expect it to be. Because what if application still loses a couple of letters and you have to type it again? In general, instead of little condition, right, like this, I would probably use something like my plugin Cypress Recurse that can, for example, retype the email until it's set correctly. But in most applications, this happens only at the beginning of the test where the field still is not initialized with JavaScript. All right, so this was the solution to the level 4 exercise.